Okay, and our second TV tropes topic for the week, comic book adaptation. Movies and TV shows are often adapted in a comic book form. Comics have certain advantages over other media. They are much easier and cheaper to produce than TV shows, and since the reader isn't restricted to experiencing the story at a particular time each day, the creators are more free to write longer running, more complex stories. Such adaptations tend to take three forms. 1. The comic retells the story of the original work. 2. The comic takes the characters and setting of the original, but tells a different series of stories. 3. The comic continues where the original left off or fills in the backstory. In cases where the comic is intended to be released right from the start, it sometimes appears before the work from which it is adapted. See also anime first. For the comics adapted into other media, see the movie, animated adaptation, and licensed game. Sometimes the end product will actually be called Name the Comic Book. And there are 50 quadrillion examples, like there's a Max and Ride comic book, Star Wars, Doctor Who, Star Trek, The Muppets. There are comic books based off cartoons that are based off other comic books. Like, okay, Teen Titans is a comic book. They made a TV show off that, and they made a comic book off the TV show. And stuff like Batman. I saw Batman anime. I've seen Batman cartoon comic books and stuff like that. I've seen Superman cartoon comic books. I mean, there's a whole bunch of stuff. Like just going down the list. Babylon 5, Firefly, Transformers, G.I. Joe, let's see, Gargoyles, the Powerpuff Girls, Tom and Jerry. It's like anything, pretty much every single famous thing ever has been a comic book adaptation. Some are good, but some aren't so good. I would say personally that I don't really read many comic book adaptation things. I kind of try to go for the real stuff, but and I like stuff that doesn't really. I like comic book adaptations that really don't, you know, like shows more. It goes in more detail. I like the number 3. The comic continues where the original left off or fills in the backstory, because if you retelling the story, it's pretty much gonna be what you saw the first time. But see, here's the thing, they'll change some things. Like, well, example, I have as of right now, I have every volume of the Master Right comic book that's out, and I have noted things they've put in, taken out, some of the funny lines they took out, some of my favorite lines. So I kind of really don't like number 1. Number 2, the comic takes the characters and setting of the original, but tells a different series of stories. Okay, yeah, I can go with that, but you know, I'm a person who needs to know everything about the original stuff. So I really don't mind. I don't really care about other style. I want to know about like the backstory and like what happens in the future, because I don't like endings. Period. To stories. I like if I was psychotic enough, I would probably try to write ends of stories to every book I read, but I don't have that much time, and I'm not quite that psychotic yet. So, yeah, that's my little rant about comic book adaptations. Hey, for once, I actually have my list in front of me. What I'm going to do next week. Next week, if we get through 2, the next ones will be Contrived, Coincidence, and Cracking the Ice. So I will hope you stay tuned for next week for those. And until then, see you later, and you know, keep on reading TV tropes.